Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Connor. I'm a science fiction political philosophy nerd, a Marine Corps and law enforcement veteran, and a never Trump Republican. And today we are just going to suffer. My friend and internet creator Stephen Bennell II has gone on a series of tweets and jokes and comments related to the flash floods in Texas, effectively making fun of dead kids, let's be real, and then also the government response to the dead kids, and also the moral frogging from the right that has come about as a result of his jokes. And there is an actual steel man to hypocrisy. We are going to go through this, and I'm going to break down like the social dynamics, the clout dynamics, the like the advocacy and voting dynamics, all that kind of stuff, and also just probably criticize some of the jokes, some of the comments, and all that kind of stuff. Some people can call it moral frogging. It probably is. It probably is this just rubbing me the wrong way at some point. But you know, you got to tell the truth, and you got to call it spade to spade. So let's go ahead and bring up the tweets. We're going to start with the tweets and the jokes first, and then we'll get into some content related to the jokes and the tweets. So this is the one that kicked it off. And I do have to say that this is a insanely, weirdly funny, fucked up joke. It just is what it is. So, and I'm going to tell you where it rubs me wrong almost immediately. Kylie Jane Kremer says, I've been trying to wrap my head around how the flooding in Texas became so devastating so quickly. Why not evacuate? Then I saw this Lieutenant Government Dan Patrick and the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes around 4 a.m. So Kylie Jane Kramer is alleged to have been a Marjorie Taylor Greene simp who is basically accusing the river of being an unnatural, like Jews have laser beams thing, and being a conservative who doesn't take like emergency response seriously by supporting the slashing of the federal government and also state programs that might prevent the death. Stephen found it funny to say, I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN promo code Destiny to get around the Texas porn ban. Frowny face. He was nice enough to put the frowny face in here. And by the way, this joke is related to 27 drowned children at a Christian summer camp. So, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Now, I would say that's pretty fucked up. And I think a lot of other people are reacting that way too, because this was within the first 24 to 48 hours of the thing. So everybody's just imagining, you know, 100 people in general, but 27 children under the age of 10 drowning in mud and water. Shad's responds, Christ, you're such a piece of shit. Ralph, the airborne ranger, says, it's too bad you weren't in the riverbed when this happened. Ravlex says, I hope karma is swift and brutal. Grand Admiral says, you're such a shitbag. Ben Shapiro's biceps says, the Lord has a plan, and most of it is moving money away from weather services to help Maccabees usher in the second coming of Christ in Israel. Ben Shapiro's biceps gets it. John Dutois says, it isn't your fault your perverted sexual appetites were caused by being molested as a child, but standing on the backs of dead Christian kids to lash out at the only one who can give you peace isn't going to help you in the long run. I know Jean Dutois, that is Lauren Southern's videographer. Doomer News says, Destiny is so Republican that his wife cucked him and left him. His only child hates him. Also, he loves licking other guys. Oops, gross. TPB. So anyways, the point is that you can get the vibe, which is effectively that, I don't know, 10%, 20% of the people are like, fuck this guy. Or excuse me, 10%, 20% of the people are laughing. And then they're saying like, oh, you know, like the steel man is that Republicans are dumbasses who cut their own social services, which is why people died. And then I would say 90% of the people are basically saying, Destiny, if I see you in person, I'm going to fist fight you. So that's the first joke. Then I'm just going to read all of them because let's go for it. Destiny says, anyone know the best place to hire illegal immigrants? Want to take my $200K in tax savings and hire as many illegals as possible and laugh while fat, lazy magatards rot away in their trailer parks? Awesome. Yep. Definitely going to build a center-right, center-left coalition out of this. Jesus Christ. This is the appeal to hypocrisy, which there's a better one later on. Steven says, hey, donut operator, because donut operator was talking about the Western North Carolina, the lack of response from the Biden admin to take care of Western North Carolinians after they got hit by a hurricane. And where are your tweets blaming Trump or Greg Abbott for the lack of preparation and response for the flood? You seemed like you had so much more to say at the California wildfires while blaming Gavin Newsom and DEI. Would be really pathetic if you were just weaponizing drowned dead children for social media likes. I get it. He's doing the same thing. Gavin Newsom says more than 7,500 firefighting personnel are on the ground working with local and federal partners to respond to California's ongoing historic wildfires. Donut operator said, hey, dickhead, this is your fault. In reference to LAFD doing a diversity tweet, donut operator says, sounds like the top brass were super focused on preventing fires and definitely nothing else. This is in reference to a random promo video where kind of like a fat lesbian firefighter was, joking about how if somebody was stuck in a fire, then they already made a series of bad mistakes. Yeah. All right. Anyways, continuing with the pain. That's Trump on a tariff thing. NordVPN says, hello, everyone. The tweet falsely suggests a sponsorship with us. No such relationships exist. We are reviewing the misuse of our trademark. This is actually pretty funny. This is the one part of it that I actually find just unironically funny, is Steven tagging a major VPN brand in reference to his fucked up tweet. And the major VPN, a lot of people thought that was real. So the VPN brand responded, but he didn't have an actual brand association. And in response, Steven doubles down. They will literally never be able to find me behind my NordVPN promo code Noah's Ark secured line. This is probably the funniest part of everything being so fucked up. Then It's a Gundam says, this is what being obsessed with politics does to you. Destiny says, don't ever forget, these are the same people who want to tell you jokes are back and they're laughing it up over families being destroyed via deportation, gay people being kicked out of the military, and friends being murdered in Ukraine by a genocidal maniac, all because they're too spineless to break with the inhuman machine that is MAGA. Don't ever let these vermin bully you into civility while they hide behind their veneer of convenient cruelties. So Miles says, look, have your jokes, but how are you comparing kicking out of the military who aren't fit for the job and deportations to people drowning? Then you try to gaslight people who have an issue with into thinking they're the ones in a cult. So this is going to be the response from the conservatarians. Is, fuck you. But I think there is a point here. Yeah. So let's just say the reactions aren't positive again. Scrolling. We probably got like 3 or 4 more. Yeah. So, but this is the example though, is, yeah, and this is a retarded fucking tweet. This would piss me off. If somebody said this to me, it would fucking piss me off. Maybe the kids weren't fit for camping near a river if they couldn't swim. Obviously, flash floods 26 feet in 45 minutes. The current is so strong, it just drags you down and fills your lungs with with mud. That's why people think it's fucked up. It's fucked up. He's not picking on the government. He's not criticizing their response. He's making fun of the dead kids. Now, I said dead baby jokes when I was 17, but I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? Donut operator says, fuck you. Steven responds with a kid that's drowning. Awesome. Bro, your president is a rapist and like half of your lawmakers fuck kids. In reference to Benny Johnson saying something else. Here's the Tectone thing, but we'll watch that in a second. Here's him calling Kelly Jean fat. More pedo shit. And then he doubles down today. I think it was today. So this is where, to the families in President Biden says, to the families in Southeast and Appalachia left reeling in Helane's wake, our nation has your back and the Biden-Harris admin will be with you until the job is done. Donut operator responded, I don't see you down here helping you old, decrepit, mentally unstable geriatric fuck, which is obviously him criticizing the admin, not the dead people. And also, I do think that there's a point to hypocrisy here where Donut operator hasn't criticized the current admin at all. I don't think he's even criticized local government at all. And there was some arguments about the response being insufficient. So yeah, there's almost a point here. Then this is content that we're going to have to watch eventually, is Nick Fuentes versus Candace Owens. We will watch this debate today. You know God isn't real because if he was, it wouldn't have been the 100+ kids camping he sniped over the holiday weekend. Yeah, this is fucking... I'm just going to say this. This is like retarded fedora anti-theist bros first atheist arguments 17-year-old fucking argumentation. I get it. Like half of you are anti-theist fucking freaks, but this is fucking no. This is cringe in my opinion. Then I would say this is the last tweet. Destiny says, lol, remember when all those kids in Texas were drowning while you guys were racing horses across MacArthur Park for no reason in LA while Kristi Noem delayed deploying FEMA resources? Maybe this fits better. My body is a machine that turns children's lungs into water balloons. Homeland Security says, fire up the deportation planes. My body is a machine that turns ICE funding into mass deportations. Again, I don't like this joke. What it's responding to, I think, is tit for tat. If we're going to have the actual federal government doing cringe fucking teenage millennial fucking memes about mass deportations, then this is tit for tat. I hate this. This is like boomer millennial cringe, and this, I think, is an acceptable response to this. I hate this. This is repulsive. I hate this. This is repulsive. These are mirrors. So, and I get it. That's part of the point, right? He's holding up a mirror to the bad behavior that conservatives are. Like, look at this face. This face is like the fuck you, Steven. Fuck you, Steven. Fuck you for making me laugh at this. You fucking piece of shit. All right. Anyways, so in summary, Steven's being very spicy and gross about dead kids. It's getting a lot of people pissed off. 10% of the people see the irony, they see the humor, they see the hypocrisy, and as a result, they're laughing at it, and they're also, you know, holding MAGA people's feet to the fire about their own hypocrisy when it comes to being blasé about death. And then 90% of the people probably want to kill Steven, which I guess is an art form. That's borderline Steven's art, is getting so many people enraged that they're on the verge of murdering him. And then having 10% of the people be like, oh, there's a point here. That's an art form that Steven has mastered. Now, the funny thing too, here's something that I was thinking rolling up to this, is that oftentimes a lot of like cringe anti-theist behavior is related to anti-Christian sentiment, where Steven, well, not Steven, where other safe, edgy liberals and progressives will exclusively attack Christians. But the truth is that Steven has attacked other people, right? He's attacked Muslims. What was the Steven? No, Destiny will probably be better. Destiny Islam block tweet. I'm not going to lie. I laughed at this too. I laughed. I'm a hypocrite. I don't even know if I'm a hypocrite, but I laughed at this. Destiny says, okay, I want to say I'm sorry. I'm getting a bit too spicy and disrespectful with some of my tweets lately. There's no reason to attack an entire religion. Going to chill on the religious commentary and just stream some Minecraft later or something. And then he tweeted the Minecraft guy hitting Mecca with a diamond pickaxe. This dude's going to get shot. Like, Steven Steven's going to get shot. He's going to get what do you call it? The guy who created Imagine, he got shot outside his apartment complex. John Lennon. Steven's going to get himself John Lennon. That was fucking crazy. You know what? I'm going to show you another meme too, because it's me. I used to like this page meme. Okay. So, sure. This is me right here. This is a lot of people, but this is me, okay? Man, this page, man, I don't know. This page used to be cool, but now it went too far. It made a meme that wasn't strictly in loading screen format, and now I don't know. I need time. Like that. There's a better version of this. Yeah, man, this page, I don't know. This page used to be cool, but now it went too far. It made fun of something that I liked, and now I don't know. I need time. This is me. So, yeah. I'm not saying there isn't hypocrisy. I just want to point out the dynamics of what's going on as maximally as possible. I'm gonna check in with chat before we move into the next one. I think the next segment I'm actually going to be able to make some points that hopefully will break through to you antisocial schizo freaks. But I guess I'm in Twitch and YouTube politics, so this is realistically this is my fault. This is my fault for expecting social normalcy out of Twitch and YouTube politics. My bad. So, all right, just scrolling up a little bit, otherwise I'm going to get lost in the sauce. Wow Man says, in a world where everybody thinks their cruelty is justified because reasons, all of us get further stuck in a death spiral where nothing gets done. Yes, Wow Man. Counter, love you too. I do love you. I hate all the sweeping right now, but you know, it is what it is. C-Dub says, in this moment of tragedy, I'm euphoric. Thoughts and prayers are better, I guess. No one said that. Fung Dark says, after Hurricane Rita, my grandfather got fed up with the intrusion of the FEMA agent and tore up the papers and rejected aid like a real American. He didn't bitch and paid for his own cleanup. Interesting. Haterade says, the NordVPN joke was funny and Donut wasn't criticizing the admin. He was just talking shit to Biden. No actual criticism. Biden's the head of the admin. I don't accept what you're saying. When you guys say something that, like, I don't have the time to break down every single comment. So sometimes I'll break it down, and sometimes I'm just going to say, I don't agree. Razzle Smasher says, I'm team anti-theist freaks, but I still parasocially love you, Connor. Good. Matthew Mendoza says, yeah, that's a wild meme from Homeland Security, but from Destiny, I hold a different standard. Yeah. Master of Darkness says, maybe the Old Testament should be more sophisticated then. Not our problem that it can be dismantled by simple arguments. That, Christ. Master of Darkness, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to kidnap you, and I'm going to do the whatever, the eye holders from whatever that movie is, and I'm just going to strap you to a chair and make you watch Jordan Peterson mythological fucking lectures for like 36 hours. I'll make you see the light. Tiny about to have me reactivating my X account? Yeah. Yep. Sam says, did Destiny come out as conservative finally? He was never a leftist, lol. What about the past 20 minutes made you think that he was conservative? What the fuck are you talking about? LB says, mass deportations are far worse. That's something we can control. Natural disasters, we can only just get out of the way. No, that's not even Steven's point, LB. LB, fuck, you're going to trigger the shit out of me today. Steven's point is that there was money available in order to install an early warning system in that river, and local Republicans rejected it because they thought it was a way that the Biden deep state was going to further control localities. And so as a result of rejecting that, his argument is that incompetent Republicans rejected federal dollars under the Biden admin that indirectly led to these deaths. And then there is a story that did come out where Kristi Noem specifically had to approve operations exceeding $100,000, and it took 3 days to get that signed approval. Now, there's a counter argument that Kristi Noem was actually on the ground in Texas the next day, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't a paperwork kerfuffle that delayed a response. Brandon Zero says, by the way, yesterday was a food Destiny tweet on Pierce Morgan, and today is going to be the Epstein shit on Pierce, and Destiny would be in as well. So we have a back-to-back Destiny panel debate on Pierce. Nice. C-Dub says, problem is Steven's edgy anti-theist jokes get lost from the actual point. I agree. Dark King says, I genuinely think Steven doesn't at all care about the kids, just the political fight, which given how much of his audience just follows him is very sad. Well, and we'll see some of that sociopathy in a minute. Yep. All right. Haterade says, if it were trans kids, MAGA would be going hard. Also, good morning, Connor. Yeah. And by the way, if you want to hold up an ugly mirror to various social media personalities, I think that's fine. I think the problem so far is that you have not found me an equivalent tweet specifically from Donut Operator or Brandon Herrera. But I remember when the trans kid committed suicide and they took a picture of the bridge. I think it was in New York, and they were like, wow, what a pretty view. And then the story the next day was that they had committed suicide at that bridge. And then MAGA influencers, bear in mind, it was distant right-wing freaks, but they went to the bridge and actually they drew soy jacks and posted it next to the flowers and the candles and the funeral arrangement that was on the bridge. Not the funeral arrangement, but you know what I'm saying, the shrine. They went to the shrine and they posted anti-trans suicide wojacks at the shrine. Which is like, how fucking cruel and sociopathic and fucked up do you have to be? But the whole point is that if you think they would just be like, oh, it's edgy humor, bro. And then Steven's doing the same thing. Well, if I'm getting pissed off at the former, then I can get pissed off at the latter. There's no hypocrisy here. You're really going to work that white Christian males are under attack kayfabe? I don't know what that's in reference to, but sure. My falter ego says Destiny's right. All those anti-woke free speech guys are showing their hypocrisy. All right. All right. A couple more, then we're getting back into it. Destiny is basically John Lennon. Yeah, and if he wrote Imagine, I would do something about that. Melody says, if you make fun of a religion with people that are known for killing people who make fun of their religion, that person will basically make fun of anything, lol. I mean, you got a point there. Silverjack Man says, I've learned that some online creators' personalities who are thoughtful, well-read, and personal turn into absolute psychopaths when you give them a Twitter account. Yep. Connor will just give into the depravity eventually. Nope. Christian Blair says, Connor was expecting this chat to have the same feels about Destiny dissing the Texas kids versus Destiny dissing the Pally kids that were blown up into a million pieces. Yeah. Yeah. Were all you guys like freaking out about like Palestinian kids getting blown up, or was that also just funny? Wow Man says, edgy humor is like a creepy uncle at a barbecue. It's funny until it touches you. Nailed it. There's also a parody called Clockwork Orgy. I hate you. Why did you say that to me? All right, into the content. God. All right. So, like the stream, watch the VODs, comment on the VODs, super chats if you got them, membership donations if you got them, and engage in chat. There's lots of funny, weird people, especially today. And yeah, that's about it. Brandon Zero says, no, we laughed about Palestinian kids as well. Actually, I think we went harder on the Palestinian kids, Connor. Well, Brandon Zero, you guys are just fucked up then. You guys are just dicks. Like, you guys are just fucking antisocial fucking assholes. What do you want me to say? Like, listen, I don't know what the dead Palestinian jokes were. And I'll admit that I think like some fucking joking about tragedy is funny, and I'm probably a hypocrite in that regard. However, like, you know, there's like videos that I saw within the past 6 months where it's like an airstrike blew up like a teenager. And so they're walking out with the leg of a very obvious adolescent blown to shit with their ass cheek hanging out. And I didn't think that shit was funny at all. I thought that was straight fucked up. So if you guys are looking at that shit and you're like, like, are you laughing at it because the joke is so fucked up it's absurd? Or do you actually think that a teenager with their fucking leg blown off, obviously dead, is funny? You know what I'm saying? Because if you think the latter is funny, or if you think the former is funny, yeah, that's internet humor. If you think the latter is funny, you're fucked in the head and you need to go see a therapist. Shaved Dog Butt says, by the way, if you don't want to read out my name, you can just say SDA instead of Shaved Dog Butt. I know, but it's funny when Shaved Dog Butt is funny. So, all right. Anyways, let's do the next one. All right. So this is kind of continuing the segment. I'm not going to break this up because we're only 40 minutes into stream. But effectively, Tectone is one of these conservatarian bros who was offended by Steven's joke. And I think that Steven is unnecessarily abrasive while still making a point. But then there's 2 or 3 points in here that are actually fucking stupid. And so I'm going to criticize those 2 or 3 stupid points. And if you don't like it, that's on you. But let's go ahead and add this to the stage and let's watch it.
That was a good. That, to be fair, that was a pretty good tweet. I think it was.
It's like
they have to have that dark humor because that they see is awful.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to survive without Gallows humor.
You have to have it.
You have to have it.
It'd be weird not.
Wait, is that the cock operator guy?
It's fucking
Okay.
mind blowing when people get offended by dark humor.
This guy did call out Steven. There was another guy who called out, or Donut Operator in this clip called out Steven. And then Donut Operator also called out another creator called NMP, who made a fucked up joke within hours of the flash flood. And so, yeah, they're hypocritically moral frogging when they're also saying that like dark humor is necessary in order to survive in first response / military service.
Thankfully,
you can't joke about that. It's like, well,
Brandon Herrera. Yep.
that's what
Have you
the people
experienced
who've
it?
seen it joke about.
exactly.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just gonna head off, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna get to you, and you're gonna be upset, and you're gonna do the sewer slides.
But legitimately, that's how you identify somebody who's never experienced
Oh my
jack fucking
God.
shit in their life,
Seriously?
is if they get offended over shit like that. Because they're getting offended for people who would think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think any of the 15-year-old girls thought, like drowning, or 10-year-old girls, by the way. I don't think any of them thought it was fucking funny as their lungs were filling up with mud. So this isn't a 1-to-1.
At 4850 on YouTube, of Tectone's recent live stream, he spent about 5 minutes commenting on your recent Twitter posts.
Let's just let people help people. I mean, to make
Who's stopping anybody from helping anybody? I'm sorry.
Gen X being a fucking smartass. It's bad. What do you want me to say? I hate you. Brandon Zero says, I remember one of the jokes being around, hey, at least they were blown by a rocket, not by a strapped bomb, or something around that. Jesus. Christian Blair says, the joke is funny, the circumstance isn't. I should have explained that, or I shouldn't have to explain this. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should. There's no differentiation. There's no differentiation there. As a matter of fact, Steve's about to say some of the most sociopathic fucking shit you've ever heard in your goddamn life. So, yeah, you do have to differentiate. Sorry. Anyways.
Are my jokes?
make a quote retweet on this post about this is what you're quote retweeting. Ransom supplies out to Kirk County with Brandon and met up with West Verdell. This is right around the corner from
Like, why is it so funny when it's involving any group of people that aren't you?
Okay. This is what I'm going to say. If you want this line of argumentation to be relevant to me, because I'm not, I don't have 80 IQ. I'm actually a fairly smart fella. And you guys should be smarter in my chat, by the way. You should all have 3,000 IQ. You can't hold groups accountable for hypocrisy. There's hypocrisy within every group. So conservatarians in general being callous about mass deportation or people dying of AIDS or people dying of dengue fever or malaria, I could go to Rob Norm or Phil Labonte or a few other people and I could say, oh, you're moral frogging about these, 27 kids who died in a flash flood. I told you about probably a few million kids who are going to die of AIDS, and you didn't give two fucks about that. So you're being a moral frog. I can 100% do that. However, what has Tectone specifically done? What has Donut Operator specifically done that shows that they've made fucked up jokes about, dead people within the past 12 hours? You know what I'm saying?
Like, I wish these people would extend for like 2 seconds. Like, it's unreal to me that they'll look at like, oh, look at these people getting deported. Oh, look at these people dying for wildfires. Oh, look at it. And then when it's there,
Who did that? Right? Was it any of the people you're criticizing?
people are like, whoa, bro, those are children. Those are children, bro. Are you in Texas, bro? These are Texan children. These are Texan children. Like, if that's going to be your approach to things, then fine. But in that case, how can you not see how insane you look, not to extend that to any other group of people besides?
People are inherently tribal, so this is unsurprising. It's unsurprising that, like, tragedy, the closer it gets to you, the more sensitive you are about it. It's just true.
It's whatever you personally care about. Like, it's so unbelievably fucking short-sighted.
Yeah, missing, where 20 to 25 little girls went missing. Miles and miles of cars, trees, homes piled on top of one another. First responders was a huge holiday.
Also, no offense, as a kid haver myself, kids, all right?
Nah, and this is where he's losing me immediately. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say, and I'm going to pause it and I'm going to break it down.
Listen, kids dying is tragic, sure, but it's not magically infinitely more tragic than like 20 or 30-year-olds dying. The fuck? What? Yeah, children dying is sad, okay? Some children are assholes, all right? They are. It's not like every single child is like this innocent beacon of pure bullshit, okay? Some kids are dicks. They grow up to be dicks. They don't just become them, okay? They were made that way at a very early stage in life. This idea that you're supposed to magically care more because of some age, fuck you.
I'm going to say this right back to Steven, because it's just banter, guys. It's just banter. All right. I'm going to try not to be ass mad while I'm saying it. Okay. He said it in a spicy, frenetic, funny way. Okay. I'm going to say this back. Anybody who doesn't have the fucking brain of a goddamn lizard understands subconsciously that we are more sad about children dying. Anybody who thinks about it for more than 15 seconds can understand why. It's because that life is an experience. We have a limited amount of time in order to enjoy it. And so if you're 80 years old and you already lived your life, you only got a year left. So most people, if you die from some weird thing, they don't feel bad for you really, because the truth is that it was either cancer, heart attack, or you died in the flash flood. That's why it's still bad that an 80-year-old died in a horrific way, but it's not as bad as a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old, because the truth is a 30 or a 40-year-old had more of life to experience. Then when it comes to children, yes, individual kids are fucking assholes and they're going to grow up to be pieces of shit. However, there's still potential. There's time for change, and there's time for exploring that potential and becoming something new and different. And there's also time for experience. So basically saying this in reference to specifically 27 under 10-year-old girls, it's like, number one, it's probably the most subconsciously thought of innocent demographic on the fucking planet. And then number two, it's so gosh darn obvious why people would value children over 30-year-olds, over 80-year-olds, that all he's trying to do is he's trying to encourage you to be more sociopathic. That's all that's going on. And by the way, you guys can be sociopathic, but I'm going to call you sociopathic fucking freaks, and I'm going to point it out when he's encouraging you to be more sociopathic. Okay? Steven, the other day, there was something in reference to J-Stock where he was like, when have I ever been a sociopath? When have I ever said anything sociopathic? What DMs could you possibly show where I'm being a sociopath? I'm just going to say, this clip is sociopathic. It is. I'm not saying that as like a moral indictment, like, oh, Steven's so bad, he's pretty much Pol Pot. Obviously not. However, that clip is sociopathic. If you don't understand that, you're emotionally retarded.
Retarded. It's so stupid.
weekend where hundreds of out-of-towners staying on the riverbank, which means they really can't give a solid count how many people are actually missing. This community is going to need support in the following days. Keep an eye on how to help. We'll try to figure out more tomorrow. Heading back in a couple hours. I don't know what inspired you to schizo out on this guy, but it's really not that big of a deal. Like,
True, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a joke.
I'm sympathetic to that part of it. The incident is more important than Steven's stupid joke. And the reaction should be, it's a stupid joke, move on.
So you look at it, and if you don't think it's funny, then move the fuck on. It's so simple. It's so easy. It's so easy to just not obsess over things that you think are funny. Then just move the fuck on. That's it. Easy.
come on, man. It's just.
There's parts of it that aren't funny to me. There's parts of it that are very funny to me, and it pisses me off. I think that's actually why it's probably a really good dark joke, is because it simultaneously pisses me off and I have to laugh at aspects of it. Specifically, NordVPN fact checking the tweet, I think is objectively funny.
Come on, this is an exhausting, non-necessary streamer drama, and it just feels.
My real IQ is 132, but let's be real, it's probably 120 now because I've taken so much psychic damage and physical damage over the years. This chat's IQ is 3,000 though. Mineral waterboarding.
Feels tiresome.
It feels tiresome? You're so tired. How isn't Tectone supposed to be like a super edgy dude? It's just so tiresome when it's applied to you. Like, you understand that you sound like every single soy fuck, like non-binary LGBT person. Like, why do people have to make homophobic jokes all day? And why do people have to joke about blah, blah, blah? And you're like, dude, it's just a joke. Get over it. Dude, why do you care so much? But now when it's about kids that aren't even, you're not even related to these people. What, like, I don't understand. What, were they future potential victims for your dad? What do you want?
That's funny. But guess what? They're fucking Americans, right? So I have sympathy and empathy for the Africans who are going to die from AIDS, and I bitched about it endlessly on stream. I have sympathy and empathy for the Ukrainians who are getting fucking bombed. I bitched about that endlessly on stream. I have sympathy and empathy for all the people that were fucking over internationally in East and South Africa who are going to die of dengue and malaria. I've bitched about that constantly on stream. So yeah, the level of sympathy and empathy that I've had for Africans and that I've had for Ukrainians and I've had for South and East Africans is the same. I'm actually probably going to have more sympathy and empathy for Americans because they are a part of my tribe. They are a part of the national organization that I am a part of, and I care about them inherently as human beings, but also as fellow Americans. Anybody who isn't a fucking lizard brain understands this.
I don't understand what is the connection here? They are so personally fucking offended. Like, what the fuck? It's so stupid. Holy.
Yeah, to me, this is liberal brain rot. Again, chat, you don't have to agree with me, but you are not an island. You are a part of a community. You're particularly antisocial, freakish, online part of a community, but you're still a part of your city. You're still a part of your county. You're still a part of your state. You're still a part of the United States of America. And even if you're European or whatever the fuck, that still stands true for whatever system of government you already have. And you should have sympathy and empathy. You are not a rugged individual. So this whole line of argumentation is also, I'm just going to say it, it's fucking retarded. It's fucking retarded lizard brain sociopathy.
Holy shit, grow the fuck up or maintain a consistent position and don't.
I am. They might not be. I am.
Make those jokes ever. Just say, we don't do edgy humor here, guys. Not, we do edgy humor for every single fucking group of people, except for the ones that I personally get upset about. Like, Christ, you guys will fucking talk about God's judgment and everything, and these motherfuckers were killed at like a Christian camp in Texas, all right? Listen, if God was going to command any kind of natural disaster to happen, seems like it would be right here, all right? Jesus.
And again, this is like fucking 14-year-old edgy anti-theist understanding of God. So literalism is cringe and stupid and dumb. Anybody who doesn't understand like the symbolic, mythological, or metaphorical components of religion, you're trapped as being a 15-year-old. And I am shocked at the lack of sophistication of this analysis.
It really does. It's just tiresome. Like, let's all do some collective growing up.
Oh my God! From this guy?
Again, I don't know what Tectone has done previously. Okay, So if Tectone is like, ha ha ha, suck it, Palestinian kids, I hope the IDF carpet bombs you, then I think it would be okay to call him out this way. If Tectone was like, ha ha ha, Ukrainian kids, you're just a bunch of fucking dumbasses, eat Shahed, rocket drones, then I would accept this. If he's like, ha ha ha, get wrecked, $6.5 billion a year prevents you from getting AIDS. If you get AIDS, you're just a dumbass. If those are like Tectone tweets or statements on stream, then I will accept this level of criticism from Steven. But I don't know Tectone well enough to establish that that is his sense of humor or aligns with previous statements that he's made. So again, this just feels kind of like, without specific evidence for Tectone's sins, I can't sign off on this.
From this guy, really? Yeah, this is okay, you know what?
Hold on. Brandon Zero says, Cotter, in this case, is being accurate. Tectone has been banned for doing multiple anti-gay jokes on Twitch. So for this video, I think he is the one being against Tectone. I'm sorry. What were the anti-gay jokes? Please explain to me what the anti-gay jokes. Was it the Colorado shooting happened and he's like, ha ha ha, God's judgment has smited thee. Laugh my ass off, get fucked. Was that it? What did he laugh at the Pulse nightclub shooting? What anti-gay jokes did Tectone make where this is considered reciprocal? I'm starting to think you guys have fucking autism. I really am. And no offense, like my wife just told me the other day that she thinks that I have autism. But come on, man. You guys are sweeping. I'm just saying it. You're saying I'm sweeping for JBP. You're fucking sweeping so goddamn hard today. You're sweeping so hard, you might as well be mopping.
But I respect it. Because it sounds like Tectone, okay, is turning over a new leaf. And no more edgy humor.
That's not what he said.
No more.
Let's do some collective growing up.
No more racist, homophobic.
Nobody said that, by the way. There's a spectrum of jokes, okay? If I make a joke about lynching black people, or if I make a joke about like the pizza joke, where a pizza is able to feed a family of 5, very clearly there's a spectrum of racial humor where one of them is effectively laughing at hate crimes and the other one like hate homicides, and the other one is making a joke about like financial instability in the black community. They're both edgy, but one is clearly edgier than the other.
Whatever, xenophobic, no more. He's gonna.
And rather than just say, yeah, but dude, isn't this literally hypocritical? Guys, isn't this guy literally being a hypocrite right now? Like, guys, hello? Are we all seeing this? Are we all seeing that this guy might be a little bit of a hypocrite right now? Like, guys, we might need to call the police on this guy. What are we doing?
And by the way, Steven's treating Tectone like Tectone is being a fucking hypocrite here, or like he's an asshole for being sensitive. But Tectone is literally saying like, hey, I'm going to try to grow up and also chat. I'm pretty sure what he's saying is don't freak out on Steven. Like I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. So this is the exact mature response that I would expect out of somebody who actually is sensitive about the events, but realizes he's being sensitive and is trying not to be a dick to Destiny. So Destiny continuing to be a dick is kind of like, what the fuck, man? He's literally saying like, don't freak out. Like you can be upset, you can be pissed, but don't freak out on Steven because we all do this shit.
Genuinely, NordVPN even replied, what's this? NordVPN, hello everyone, this tweet falsely.
He's gonna read.
Yeah, so Dark King 360 says, not gonna lie, the comment about not caring about kids made me unsubscribe. Yeah, it's fucking lizard brain sociopath shit. So there are hundreds, 100 and change people in my chat right now, and 90% of them are like, oh, it's not a big deal, it's edgy humor, right wing does this shit all the time, they're a bunch of hypocrites, fuck them, lol. But I am wondering how many people exist like Dark King where they're like, yeah, too far, fuck this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Times. What intern woke up to my tweet and they're like, oh, fuck.
They suggest a sponsorship with us. No such relationship exists. We're reviewing this.
Okay, Rob, you fucking psycho. I don't know. One of these kids was Ted Cruz's neighbor, solid 50-50 on whether or not she was horrific. You're fucking retarded, Rob. I love you. Sorry for the ableist slur. Sorry, Ken. Sorry, Jesus. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Commander Haircut. I don't know. One of these kids was Ted Cruz's neighbor, solid 50-50 on whether or not she was horrific. So, Rob, you're going to have to tell me right now, and I don't even think you're going to know. So this is more of like a question, okay? Are you saying this as a joke where you're like, lol, somebody I hate was neighbors with one of the people dead, so 50-50 shot that this kid who's under the age of 10 was a piece of shit? Or are you fucking serious? And this is the exact point. This is Rob, thank you for writing this down. Is I don't know which part of this is true, right? You can fall back on it's just a joke, but it feels like there's an underlying current of malice where you're like, these kids were in a red area. They were going to grow up to be conservative and vote against my interests anyways. So as a result, I don't feel bad about them dying, despite the fact that they're girls under the age of 10. It feels like a way to look at something horrific, categorize it in such a way that you don't have to give a shit, and then be callous in public so other people can, one, laugh, but then two, they might agree with you. And they might be like, yeah, fuck it. You know, future conservative, who gives a shit? That's what that feels like to me. So you can answer that question for yourself, and you can answer for me in chat if you feel like it. But you actually just, Rob, like, I'm going to thank you. Even if you're joking, you just demonstrated why I give a shit about this. Wowman542 says, Destiny's whole issue in this combo is Goomba fallacy. He keeps attributing the edgy jokes some MAGAs make to all right-wingers online, so he thinks they all deserve the heat. Yep. Fung Dark says, I'm emotionally R-slurred, and I understand that. Based.
Use our trademark. I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN promo code of Destiny to get around the Texas porn ban.
Okay, listen. I heard God killed those kids. This is like 15-year-old fucking humor bullshit that actually turns me off. Thinking about under 10-year-old, under 15-year-old kids fapping is also fucking gross. The NordVPN promo code, that's the part that I'm actually like, okay, that's funny.
That was a good ass tweet. That was a good, to be fair, that
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you for making me laugh.
was a pretty good tweet. I think it was.
Jesus. It's like,
Did you edit it? No, they either soft block me or they untag themselves.
the reason why I might not seem like my normal self, the reason why I might not seem like, oh, why isn't he going harder on this person?
Oh.
Because I genuinely feel if you are this up to say this shit, it's just a waste of time.
Like, do you understand?
No, fuck that, Dank Brandon. Connor, I think he does have sympathy for the kids. It's those chodes he doesn't give a damn about. Dude, listen to this clip. Listen to this clip, and I'm literally going to explain to you why I think you're wrong.
You're like radiating estrogen and soy right now, right? You are every single person that you've criticized for being too soft and too weak to be on the internet.
Show me those clips, Steven. DGG, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Counter Connor, COUNTERCONOR. Alternatively, if we're already friends on Discord, go ahead and DM it to me. Show me Tectone being callous and talking about like trans suicide and gay domestic abuse and anti-gay hate crimes and hood people killing each other and black kids killing each other and being like, lol, well, they were future gangbangers anyways. Show me that from Tectone, please. Show me his sense of humor being that fucked up. Now maybe he is. Maybe he's totally right. Maybe Steven is actually more familiar with Tectone's content than I am, and Tectone has almost one-to-one fucked up humor about black kids, Mexican kids, gay kids, whatever, getting fucking smoked or being destroyed by reality. Maybe that exists. Maybe I'm totally off. But in order for Steven's line of argumentation to work, Tectone individually should be guilty of that crime.
and too much of a cupcake and a snowflake and a little baby that can't handle. I'm sorry, where was it? Hold on. What did we just watch 2 seconds ago?
They have to have that dark humor because that they see is awful.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to survive without Gallows humor.
You have to have it.
You have to have it.
It'd be weird not. It's fucking mind blowing.
All right, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the Gallows humor. Okay. Iraq IED hot ass 4chan green text. Let me see if I can find it. All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the dark humor that these guys are probably talking about, which I agree I laugh at, and it's fucked up. Be on patrol in Iraq. Vehicle-borne improvised explosive device explodes a few blocks away. We go to secure the area, and I, a medic, go to treat casualties. Platoon sergeant is with me. He points to a smoldering buttocks. So effectively like a butt has been separated from a human body. The person whose butt is there is gone, okay? Looks at me and says, check out that hot piece of ass. Women are on their knees, throwing sand over their shoulders to mourn. I'm laughing so hard, I have tears running down my face. This is fucked up, right? It's fucked up. But I'll admit, the first time I read this green text and the first time I thought about it, I laughed. Literally 10, 20, 30 people are fucking dead. And immediately in the aftermath of a suicide bombing, they make a joke about the gore that they're seeing as a result of somebody dying. And they're laughing about it. And by the way, I think it's funny. So am I a hypocrite? I have no idea. There's like 10,000 contextual things that I could add for why I think this is funny, but I'm not going to like self-sweep. But this is the, like, maybe you can think about this, about whether or not this dark humor is as bad as, you know, making jokes about dead kids. But yeah, like this is the kind of dark humor that I think they're talking about. Then I'll tell you as well, this is really not my story to tell, it's my friend's story. But effectively, he was a designated marksman, or like a sniper on patrol. And they knew that there was this one area where guys kept planting bombs. And so they're patrolling it one night, and they're just watching the road, and it's like midnight. So some guy comes out with a giant shovel, and he starts digging. And as a result, he's bent over. So my friend, who's the sniper, can only see his legs and butt. And so since he's digging in order to plant a bomb, he gets the order to shoot the guy. And he tells his commander, like, oh, I don't have, you know, a clean shot. And he's like, okay, well, take it anyways. So my friend shoots this guy in the ass. The bullet goes through and blows off half of his wiener. And the person he shot ends up surviving. And so while he's telling me the story, because he's relaying every detail of the horror of shooting this guy in the butt, he gets dragged into a house. They go and clear the house, and then they discover that effectively this guy's taken a 308 to the butt cheek, and it exploded out the front and blew half of his penis off, and the guy's going to live. I was laughing. I was laughing super hard because I was just imagining an adult Iraqi walking around with a limp and half a wiener because my friend shot him in the ass. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I'm not saying it's not fucked up. Obviously, it's fucked up. Still funny. So I'll share that dark humor can be hypocritical, I guess. But again, I have all these justifications like, it's wartime. These people are trying to kill you. They're assholes anyways. You know, we're worried about dying. We know it's fucked up. Like all that kind of shit. Whereas Steven is like, lol, it's just internet shit. So I do think contextually it's different.
When people get offended by dark humor, thankfully.
You can't joke about that. It's like, well,
And where's Tectone in this, by the way?
that's what
Have you
the people
experienced
who've
it?
seen it joke about.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, you're just going to head off, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to get to you, and you're going to be upset, and you're going to do the sewer slides.
But legitimately, that's how you
Where's Tectone?
You identify somebody who's never experienced jack fucking shit in their life as if they get offended over shit like that. Because
Oh, and by the way, I totally think that Steven thinks this shit is funny because of his childhood trauma. 100%. The reason why this is funny to Steven is because he has childhood trauma. Like I'm just saying, it's 1-to-1.
they're getting offended for people who would think it's hilarious.
Yeah. They have to have that dark humor.
It's just a waste of time, guys. Nothing's going to change. Destiny is far too smart Destiny is far too smart, far too good of a debater to be held accountable for the shitty ass jokes he tells.
That doesn't seem to make sense, but.
And I just don't feel like bothering with it. I can sit here and I can bring up this, I can bring up that.
It's also funny because, like, I think he probably doesn't give a fuck about these kids, but because of like the whatever new fucking loser, fat, redneck, white trash, red group, friend group that he's fallen into, he has to virtue signal about how much he cares. What did he tweet out yesterday?
No, and this is again where fucking I think Steven is a sociopath. And by the way, again, being descriptive, I'm not moral frogging about it. Let's listen to the full thing and then I'm going to respond.
That he was going to grab some fucking episodes of Sesame Street and go and try to find kids or whatever. Didn't he tweet out that he was going to go out? Like, give me a break. Get the fuck out of here.
What did he say?
About how much he cares. What did he tweet out yesterday? That he was going to grab some fucking episodes of Sesame Street and go and try to find kids or whatever. Didn't he tweet out that he was going to go out? Like, give me a break. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Oh, so he makes a pedo joke so he can't care about dead kids in Texas. Okay. No. There's actually a better clip later on to show why people care. All right. So the reason why people care is because, number one, they're American. Number two, they could be Texan, they could be local, et cetera, but they're American, so they're part of our tribe. Number two, they're kids under the age of 10, so they're relatively speaking innocent. Number three, I can imagine going camping with my friends and family and then getting an alert, because I think the alert started going out at midnight, like, flash flood warning, blah, 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 blah. But the actual evacuation order didn't go out until 4. So I can imagine as an adult waking up to the little Amber Alert thing at 4 a.m, like seeing it and being like, we'll be fine, and then shutting it down, right? That's why. And so a little bit of negligence and incompetence on behalf of the adults local killed 100 people and killed 30 kids. And those kids didn't die well, by the way. They didn't, get euthanized instantaneously. They woke up to a wall of water rushing over them, their lungs filled with mud and water, and they fucking died over the course of 30 seconds to a minute as they lost the capacity to process oxygen. If you actually think about that, it's not a great way to go. And so I can be upset and sympathetic and empathetic to the people that died that way because it's a bad way to fucking go. So I have an emotional reaction to that. So just saying like, oh, you just care about it because you're trying to impress your friends. It's like, no, I care about it because it's fucked up. The same way that I imagine like an African mother holding her kid who has a cold and is dying because he doesn't have a fucking immune system because we stopped paying for PEPFAR, which is only saving the taxpayer $36 a year. The same way I give a shit about the African mom watching her child die is the same way that I care about the Texans. And the same way that I care about the African mom is the same way that I care about a Shahed fucking drone hitting a kids park in Ukraine and blowing up kids who are trying to go to school. I can care about all these things. And accusing everybody of having the same level of sociopathy that you do when it comes to fucking death is bullshit.
Like, it's such a virtue signal. I guess everybody just does this, huh?
No, some people actually care, and some people are fucking stupid and they don't care. They think in tribal lines. They don't care about Africans because Africans are not a part of their tribe. They do care about Americans because Americans are part of their tribe. As a matter of fact, if you ask them, that's what they're going to say to you. They're going to say, well, Africans aren't a part of my tribe, skill issue, fuck them. Ukrainians aren't a part of my tribe, skill issue, fuck them. The human brain is wired for this.
This is all
what's the point? There's no point. And saying jokes equals unhinged. Got it. You almost made me mad. You almost pissed me off. You did. You almost got me, man. Good one. But yeah, it's just a little bit exhausting how people say, you know what? I really need some content right now. Why don't I just talk about dead children? Why don't we all doing some growing up? Shit ass joke Destiny, gay as fuck. Shit ass joke NMP, gay as fuck. I'm even gonna give NMP the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give NMP the benefit of the doubt. I think NMP is fucked up mentally right now. I don't think he's okay. I think he's genuinely fucked up.
Okay. I have like half a dozen people saying that the problem is that MAGA are literalists. Okay. Steven doesn't need to contend with the dumbest argument possible. As a matter of fact, Steven's strength is contending with the strongest argument possible. So, anyways.
And I think he told that joke because he jokes about everything. Horrible fucking joke. I don't think he did it maliciously. I don't think. I could be wrong. Right? I could totally be wrong. But yeah, genuinely, I don't know, man. I think NMP is just, he's just got a fucking crash out arc right now. Yeah. That's just me. This whole thing is exhausting. Nobody's going to be happy with any way this can be addressed. But
like, there's nothing to address. If there's a joke you don't like on the internet, turn off the computer, dude.
This is the one line of argumentation that I'm sympathetic to, is in the world, there are so many things going on. Is Steven being a fucking asshole that big of a deal? Not really. Not really.
Push the X button in the top right of your browser. You can even block me. No one is forcing you to see this. You're not being waterboarded in a room, being forced to stare at jokes that you don't like about me.
I am. I have an overlap with DGG. I have to watch these jokes. You are waterboarding me emotionally.
Or from me.
My thing is, this is coming from the guy who plays anime gacha games. Can we all just grow up a little bit? And let's not go after the only people who are actually doing the most help in this space. And let's.
No, that's the problem, you stupid
This is gonna piss me off too.
motherfucker. Unless I missed a fucking new class that just dropped, and you've got real life priests and paladins that can bring people back from the dead. This motherfucker.
This is autistic sociopathy. I've already listened to this. So get ready for another moral frog rant at the end of this.
Is not really helping that much. The kids are dead. They're never coming back. They're gone. Okay? Their little baby lungs filled with water, and they're fucking dead. The problem with looking at.
Okay. That right there is just fucking sociopathy. I'm just telling you right now. Steven is smart enough to know what that means. He knows these kids died horribly. He knows they died bad. And he's just like, they're dead. They're gone. Who gives a shit? What do you want me to say? It's bad. That's sociopath shit.
This stuff, like, I'm gonna go out with thoughts and prayers and maybe a couple days of service, is that you have to solve these problems ahead of time. You have to prepare.
My Falter Ego says Tectone only grows up once it affects him. His empathy and sympathy with the pain of others didn't exist until it hit home. Yeah, no shit. That's the way 90% of people operate.
For shit. You can't sit here and constantly destroy like every single part of any part of our system that functions, and then when some motherfuckers die, be like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna go out and do something and fix it. Fuck you. Like, it's so stupid. If you care, if you actually give a fuck about the issues, then you should do something about the issues, not go out afterwards and meaninglessly fucking volunteer because he's not saving any fucking lives and he's not bringing anybody back from the fucking dead. It's
okay. This point is fucking retarded, and I'm gonna tell you why. Oh, what do they call it? Louisiana Hillbilly Fleet? The Cajun Navy. Okay. The reason why this is fucking stupid as shit is because, yes, I agree with Steven that slashing the social safety net and causing needless death is fucking stupid as shit. I also agree that there's a problem that he's going to point to later on where the state government rejected federal funds that eliminated the early warning system that would have told people to evacuate in the creek area. Allegedly. I don't know if that's true. I've just heard it said a few times, okay? However, there are more problems than just death, all right? People need, especially in emergency situations, if the local grocery store is flooded, if the local grocery store doesn't have food, if the local grocery store doesn't have water, most people don't have that much fucking food. If there's people who are stranded on top of buildings. By the way, one of the people who's being celebrated in this disaster was a Coast Guard Navy diver who effectively found 165 stranded people and started evacuating them, 5, 10 at a time via helicopter, right? And then there's also volunteers who went out with fucking boats and shit. And this is the Cajun Navy. I think they were created after the Hurricane Katrina disaster, but they've responded to multiple disasters in the Southeast and have evacuated people who the government didn't have the resources in order to locate. So no, like I fundamentally fucking disagree with if there's a disaster in your community that you cannot yourself respond and do some level of human good. It's the classic fucking parable that I always used to tell Twitch poll about. What is it? There's tens of thousands of starfish that have washed up on the beach, and a kid is running around throwing them back into the ocean. An old man, this would be Destiny in the metaphor, says, "There's too many of them. Your efforts don't mean anything." And the kid says it mattered to that one, and undeterred, he picks up another starfish and throws it back into the fucking ocean. Now, ideally, should we have the organization of starfish rescue, cute, quick reaction force that is willing and able to respond in emergency disasters whenever this happens? Absolutely. I 100% agree. From a technocratic perspective, we should absolutely do that. But when these things happen, should individuals on a moral basis feel compelled to act in order to help out their community? And by the way, we have several communities here. If you're local to Texas, then those are fellow Texans. If you're an American, those are fucking Americans. Should you help those people on an individual basis as well as on a governmental basis? 100%. And this is one of the criticisms of the fucking left, by the way, is that, no offense, but you twats think that paying taxes is enough. That all you have to do is just pay taxes and then it's somebody else's problem. Nope. Donate blood. Go to local cleanups. Volunteer in your community, and when an emergency disaster fucking happens, go help out, and don't be a fucking piece of shit. Steven makes a good and coherent point after this, but I have to say, I do find this objectionable.
It's too late at this point. Jesus.
Death isn't the only problem, and it's completely naive to think that death would be the only problem. He can say, of course, I know that. But that's not the point that he's making right now.
Let's all just shut the fuck up a little bit. That's pretty much it. How about we just shut the fuck up a little bit? Yeah. It's embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing. And the only reason why I'm even remotely talking about this is
because I have friends that are on this side of the political aisle, and I have to show my loyalty and to signal how much I belong to this social group. The same thing that I used to shit on other people for doing all the time, but I have to do this now because I have to let them know that we all are of the same,
Yeah, no, not everybody is a sociopathic fucking clout chaser. He could actually give a shit about this, and just because it's retarded, sorry, again, for using an ableist slur, sorry, Ken, sorry, Jesus, sorry, Mom, sorry, Commander Haircut. Just because he's being dumb by only caring about it once it affects people that he cares about, that's most people. Most people are tribal. Most people don't care about world events until it affects them. That's most people. So you're contending with the psychology of the human species. Gray Jedi says, I don't like that when I say making jokes about black people is bad and I'm called woke, victim, etc. But in this case, we have to take a step back. Okay. So if I make a joke about, like I said, the pizza feeding a family of 5, is that comparable on the spectrum of jokes in reference to drowned dead kids fucking swallowing mud? I don't think so. And if I make a joke about Emmett Till, is that comparable to the other joke? Right? Like no. Obviously, there's a gradation that you can grade. And no offense, you guys are kind of pissing me off, but it's okay. The same way in which you were offended by the jokes that MAGA was making, and now you're saying turnabout is fair play, The only reason why you're accepting this level of bad behavior is because it doesn't affect you, because it's not your tribe. Okay, that's fine. But then guess what? They're going to say turnabout is fair play, and then they're going to make cringe and fucked up jokes whenever some gay people die or some black people die or some Hispanic people die, right? Like in the Rio Grande, when Admiral Gibbs and fucking Rob Knorr were like, they weren't laughing. Rob wasn't laughing, but Admiral Gibbs, we were talking about how they set up like barbed wire and razor blades in the Rio Grande River, and there were people who tried to cross it and they got caught in the barbed wire and died. And they were like, yeah, good, fuck them. Sure. They can have that attitude about Hispanics, and then they can pearl clutch when people have that attitude about dead kids in Texas. But guess what? In my opinion, fuck you both. You know, if you're laughing at Hispanics drowning in the Rio Grande, and then you're laughing about fucking Christian kids drowning in a flash flood, fuck you both. You're both pieces of shit.
Social group and everything, and I don't want them to think I'm not standing by.
For all the drama frogs who want to farm this, who want me to crash out on Destiny, who want me to crash out on NMP, can you guys just donate on Venmo instead to the people who fucking need help right now? This is probably one of the most depressing situations I've ever been in, and it makes me hate this space a little bit more than I already fucking do. So if you can, just scan this Venmo code and donate some money.
Holy shit, I just had a fucking brain blast. I get it now. Hold on. I just had an understanding. When you say things like maybe tax cuts for everybody isn't the best thing. Maybe we should actually, like fully fund our federal programs.
This is actually the coherent point that I like. Listen to it.
You'll always get some like 85 IQ person whose uncle's was so far down their throat for 10 minutes when they were growing up that they have like permanent mental dysfunction now.
Okay, not that part.
You always get somebody like this, like TikTok will come into the comments and be like, if you think that taxes should be higher, well then why don't you just pay more taxes then, right?
Hold on. Master of Darkness. God Da Vinci painting. Okay. So there are plenty of Christian literalists. So Master of Darkness says, seems like God either doesn't give a shit or he doesn't exist at all. Okay. So in the Da Vinci painting, very small penis, by the way. And I think they did that because the Greeks thought that big penises were uncivilized. So they carried that forward in their art. Or they just had small penises and they wanted to make themselves feel better. I have no idea. But this is God giving the divine spark to Adam. And so there are Christian literalists who believe that man was created in God's image. And so they literally believe that God is an embodiment of energy because he's like a perpetual being with a conscious who thinks like a human being, who, intercedes in history and could probably be visualized this way. However, if you actually study religion and if you listen to priests and historians and academics, that is the religious understanding of peasants, and they're using metaphor and symbol to convey ideas. God is the creative and ordered force of the universe. The Big Bang happened, and then all of the material universe could have flung out into nothingness, and nothing could have existed ever except for void and dust. But that's not what happened. What happened is the dust collected into gravitational bodies that then birthed life, that then had to compete in order to survive. And then over time, those things became increasingly complex to the point that they understood their own existence and were able to analyze morality. And so the actual argument is that we are reflections of God because whatever set the universe into motion and put things into order, it seems that we also like to put things into order, and we like to understand creation and existence, and that's viewed as a divine spark. So when you say whatever that thing is, it's like God is not omniscient because blah 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 blah, and God is not omnipotent, therefore blah blah blah, and therefore if he's not omniscient or not omnipotent, then we shouldn't even consider whether or not God exists. I think that you have the number one. I think that was from Marcus Aurelius, who is a brilliant man, by the way. But I feel like you have the spiritual analysis of a fucking toddler. And you think yourself to be like a master's thesis person when you don't understand shit about religion, spirituality, mythology, moral thinking, any of that kind of stuff. So the whole like 15-year-old fucking level analysis of religion and spirituality and morality and all that kind of shit that DGG is comfortable with because that's what Destiny is comfortable with, that's not my chat. So if you want another anti-theist, like, you're welcome to stay, obviously. But if you want another fucking anti-theist 15-year-old fucking God, I just understood that the Bible isn't literal 30 seconds ago. If you want that kind of content, I'm not going to be that for you. Okay? I'm just not going to be that for you. Just reading a couple of chats because fuck you guys, you're pissing me off. Brandon Zero says, LB sister, unleash your power. I am waiting for the cooking. Yeah, LB's always, we can always rely on LB to piss me off. Mineral Waterboarding says, if God real, why kid hella underwater? Checkers, mate. True. Vastly Blank says, I thought it was a dig at the MAGA fundamentalists that actually believe everything happens because it's God's will. I mean, yeah, that's probably true. Puzzlehead says, I can't stand Destiny. His voice is like nails on a chalkboard. I don't get it. It's because he's smart, he's charismatic, and he's funny. Christian Blair says, I'm so fucking tired of the double standard when it comes to Destiny and other MAGA demons with who 100% make similar jokes. MAGA audiences don't give a fuck about those jokes. Show me, Christian Blairis. You're so energized and you're so pissed off today. Show me. Show me Tectone. Show me Donut Operator. Show me Brandon Herrera. Or actually, I already have an example for Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera made a video like 2 weeks after the Christian trans shooting, but funnily enough, that was more in bad taste towards Christians than it is towards anybody else. So show me. You've said that multiple times. Show me. Inpave says, show me him criticizing MAGA doing the same thing. What, Tectone? I think we've already conceded argumentatively that Tectone didn't care about any of this stuff until it hit home. I think we've already acknowledged that. Gray Jedi says, while it's whataboutism is pissing me off that people in the government and YouTube wear this edgy or worse when California wildfires happened but are finger wagging now. Did people even die in the California wildfires? How many people died in the Palisades fire? 12 people. Okay, sure. Yeah, if there's something, if you can find me something similarly callous, then of course I'll say fuck them too, right? And by the way, it's not like you can't be fucked up about fucked up shit. Just expect people to tell you that you're a piece of shit. That's all it is. Again, Steven's right. It's not that big of a deal. If you're mad, say, okay, Steven's an asshole, and move on. That's like the sum total of the moral analysis. I don't think Steven himself would deny that he's an asshole.
And then the obvious response is,
matter of fact, that's probably the fucking point, right?
well, if there's a 1,000-pound rock and I want all of us to go and move it.
This is the good point. This is the takeaway. If you're looking for something substantive in this segment, listen to this part.
And you say, well, why don't I go move it? I can't move it on my own. I can't even make it budge on my own. Me paying taxes on my own is not going to do anything. The point is for everybody to pay them, to fund your programs, to do what you need them to do. But I think they think that is the right thing, right? Like, is there anything that we could do to alleviate disaster-related stuff in the United States? No, but after one happens, you sure can go drive your F-150 down to the site and work hard on your own to help people.
This is not mutually exclusive, although I do think he's pointing to a real failure of fiscal conservatives. As an example, with the 6.5 billion for PEPFAR, which, by the way, is $18 per American and $36 total per taxpayer, because only half of our population actually pays taxes. So $36 per taxpayer. Somebody said, oh, well, if you care about AIDS so much, why don't you just donate to an AIDS charity? And the obvious implication is that there are already structures for PEPFAR that guarantees that this money is going to the right place, and that structure is currently rotting. So if I give $35 to PEPFAR, that's not going to do shit. Whereas if we give them $6.5 billion on an annual basis, they're able to build, keep, and maintain a really complex infrastructure. So this rock analogy, I can't move a boulder by myself, but cumulatively as an American population, we can move this boulder together. So we should move the boulder together, but if another boulder crashes onto a community, you should still go help clean up destroyed houses, get wounded people to hospitals, make sure everybody has food and water. These are not mutually exclusive conceptions.
Like, I think they actually think that just paying more tax on your own is like a good idea. Maybe they actually think that. Are you saying that as if this could have been circumvented? This is the first time I've heard about this flood stuff. There's 2 or 3 big things going on. One, regardless of whether or not, and I feel like it is to be determined.
Tigering says now they get a taste while people were getting drug into El Salvadoran prisons and washing the racial slurs in non-funny contexts. It's all okay or none of it is. It's all okay to say. It's also all okay for people to call you a fucking asshole, right?
Permanent, or I don't know, we never know the answer. Regardless of whether it was directly at fault or not, the fact that these guys are literally have cut 10% of the staff from the National Weather Service and are constantly fighting to defund these things, and then a natural disaster happens and it's like, oh shit, like could anything have been done to, give us more information? I don't know. We'll never know the answer to that. Now you have some knuckle draggers who are like, well, they were staffed appropriately at the time, but the forecasting and the staffers and everybody that are in charge of doing these long-term things, who knows how much that was impacted. But you're literally affecting the exact same fucking service. Right? You're literally affecting the exact same fucking service. It would be like going outside, like when you say things like, well, do we know if that's what affected it this time? That's the equivalent of a bunch of police officers going outside with bulletproof vests, and then you find out, okay, well, fuck, we're gonna have to go ahead and cut all of their vests in half. We're gonna remove the back sides of all the vests because we don't have money, we don't have the funding to cover every single officer wearing a full vest. And then they go out and they get shot to death, and you're like, well, hold on, check the bodies. Like, oh, well, they got shot in the back anyway, or they got shot in the front anyway and it went through, so it doesn't matter this time, or it's not important this time. It's like, well, they're still getting shot at and need the bulletproof vests. Like, that's what you're paying the money for, right? We fund things like the National Weather Service, we fund things like our emergency service. The second thing is look at like FEMA and how much politicization goes on with the FEMA funds, where when there's a natural disaster, Democrat president just makes funds available. That's what they do. Biden did it without question for, I don't remember which fucking hurricane it was, but whatever one tore up through here.
Yeah, what's particularly ghoulish, in my opinion, is Charlie Kirk saying that the Austin Fire Department not pre-deploying is, what caused the kids' deaths, and it's DEI. This is where I think turnabout is fair play, but it's also bad behavior. So Charlie Kirk, if you go check out his timeline, he's blaming specifically the kids' deaths on the Austin Fire Department emergency response team not pre-deploying because their fire chief didn't understand that if they did deploy, they would get reimbursed for their deployment. Austin, Texas maps. But what pisses me off about this with Charlie Kirk, I'm not criticizing Steven right now, I'm criticizing Charlie Kirk, is that if you look at Care County is centered around Careville right here. So there's Fredericksburg, Johnson City, and then there's Austin. And then also Care County looks equidistant, equally as close to San Antonio. And I don't hear anybody complaining about San Antonio not pre-deploying to Careville. And even if Careville or Care County, they didn't even evacuate. So you're saying that the kids are dead because Austin didn't put firefighters and emergency response people close to Care County so they could respond to a flash flood. But even right fucking here, this municipality didn't even evacuate. So those kids would still be fucking dead. So that's actually like, for all of my criticisms and heat for Steven making bad jokes or whatever, I have infinitely more heat for Charlie Kirk being a fucking piece of shit and blaming the Austin fire chief for kids dying. So if you want to say like that's like I would have loved it if that came up in conversation where it's like specifically Charlie Kirk who is big in the right wing was being one of the most egregious pieces of shit possible in reference to this incident. Oh, sorry. AF Racing says 119 watching and only 35 like. Get it together, people. I don't know if that's true. You could refresh your page, but the truth is, shill time. Liking the stream is free. Watching the VODs is free, and it gives me ad revenue. So watch the VODs. Then engage in chat. We got like 150 people here, which is beautiful. I'm happy we got a lot of people here. Engage in chat. There's lots of funny and interesting people. Then comment on the VOD so it gets better in the algorithm. And then also, super chats are not required. If you are broke, you're just paying bills, your 401k is suffering, you don't have extra cash, don't worry about it. But if you got $5, $10, $2, $10, whatever, your super chats are appreciated. And then also, if you want to become a member or gift memberships, that is also not required, but always appreciated. Thank you for listening to my show.
And South and North Carolina and up through and Georgia, right, and Florida. Biden did it without question. When there's a natural disaster and Trump has to deal with things, it's time for the FEMA debates. Well, do you deserve FEMA money? You know, did you shut off the water? Did you turn on the water? Did you blah blah blah? Like, no, conservatives play games with emergency funds, with funding these government entities, everything. Like, no, fuck it. If people start to die, that's fine, and that's based, and that's awesome. And you should just celebrate that and just be happy for that and just accept the trade-off. There's going to be some 12-year-old kids will die, but at the very least, I got to save $5,000 on my fucking taxes or whatever, however much money you're saving because you're getting to cut all these, horrible, terrible communist programs. Like, accept the trade-off. Just say that it's based. Much the same way, by the way, that we say that it's based when, we get to go out and shoot our guns, which I love very much. And, every now and then you might have 20, 30 kids blown away at some fucking school. But, our test scores suck anyway, so is it really that big of a loss? Just celebrate it, say it's based, that's your trade-off, and accept it. But don't sit here and virtue signal and hand wring when you're not going to make a single fucking change. Nothing is worse to me, and everybody knows intuitively, the worst people in your lives are the ones that message you, bro, and it's like, what's up, bro, and it's like, what's going on, dude? And it's like, Caroline, and it's like, oh, you're about to complain about the same bitch that you've been crying about for literally 2 fucking years. Like, I'm good, chief. Actually, you know what? I made a ChatGPT script, and you can just go back and forth because it's the same fucking complaints every fucking time. I don't know why you still talk to this girl. Or for a girl or a guy, I don't know why you still talking to this guy. What the fuck is wrong with you? The same complaints every single time. If you're not gonna make any behavior change, you're not gonna do anything different, then fuck off. Who cares? Same thing on the and then like the climate change not being real either. Where are all of these heightened weather events coming from? But I don't even care about that. The thing that just annoys me is the selective fucking care. That's all I care about.
Fashion 40 says, you should be upset at the adults who run the country who didn't accept funding, the adults who didn't evacuate the children, the adults who didn't make sure that those areas were safe. I am upset by those things. I am annoyed by those things. I don't like all those dead kids, That's why I complain about dead Ukrainian kids and dead Ukrainians in general. That's why I complain about dead African kids and dead Africans in general. That's why I complain about dead Americans and dead American kids. It's why I consistently complain about all these things, is because I think they're all fucking bad. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all human. And I like humans because I'm human. Fashion 40 says, you should be... Yeah, all right, that's the one that I just read. Fung Dark says, seeing all their stuffed animals and shit lying around in muddy was what hit me. Yep. It's fucked up.
Yeah, somebody linked this. This is what being obsessed with politics does to you. 11,000 likes. Oh, it's so fucking horrible. Meanwhile, LA wildfires. I've been told the image is AI, but the t-shirt is real. Oh, based. January 9th. Was that the same day, or did they start on the 7th? Big. So epic. Fucking epic, dude. Oh my God. So epic. Crisis King is so is Donald Trump. True. The 9mm SMG guy. Yeah, that guy's got a ton of tweets, but I haven't even. It's
Short Stack Goblin says the donut operator guy made a career out of celebrating people getting killed by cops. Yeah, but guess what? When I was watching his content, because I do have one breakdown episode that I think is on Valor Media Network, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty fucked up. Like because he's putting like squeaky duck sounds over gunshots, and he's talking about people getting smoked like it's a fucking cartoon. So yeah, you're right. Donut operator made his money in a slightly unethical / objectionable way, and I have that objection.
just like so much.
People don't give that much of a fuck. And that's why a lot of people don't give that much of a fuck. And that's why
Tectone thinks NMP should stop virtue signaling over donut operator calling him word implies OTK members say it off stream. Are we going to act like everyone in OK doesn't saying that off stream? I said it 3 days ago. NMP, you don't get to be offended. They talking about the N-word? Dude, the N-word and dead kids are different things. Jesus Christ.
give that much of a fuck. And that's why I think the internet is so fucking gay for trying to bait Donut into drama off of nothing. It was embarrassing, and I'll be real. Okay, yes, did Donut call?
I agree with you in principle about selective outrage. It seems like an extension of people's tendency to care more about their in-group than others. Do you think humans can outgrow that? I don't know, but if they're not going to, then I'm not going to, and I'm just going to sit here and laugh. So,
all right.
NMP gay?
It's called reciprocity,
yes. Baby. Are we going to act like everybody in OTK don't be saying that shit regardless off stream?
Oh, it wasn't even the N-word. It was calling somebody gay as a pejorative. Okay. Kazra says, but Connor, why, when they do it, they don't get any pushback when they think and LA fires was God's punishment for gays and trans shit? Their followers clap and applaud. How can you change that dynamic? I don't know, man. I'm just in my corner of the internet trying to tell you what I think is right and what I think is wrong. And by the way, like for this entire segment, you have to understand, it's effectively, this entire segment is like, I'm mildly offended, and I think this is unoptical, and I think it's in bad taste. But guess what? Nobody's going to give a shit in 48 hours, okay? Steven will go back to shit posting on Twitter. He'll go back to streaming on Twitter. We'll have a WIC TV panel about it next week because it takes a while in order to coordinate a panel. We'll fight about whether or not this is good optics and whether or not it's going to help in the midterm elections to get people turned off or turned on by politics, and whether or not turnabout is fair play. We'll fight about it for a week and then we'll get the fuck over it. You know, so it's not that big of a deal. But what I do hate about it is the callousness. I expect Steven to be callous. No offense. I think in my content, I've said that I believe that he's like slightly or actually just sociopathic. And then he's been callous the entire time I've known him. So I don't expect Steven to change. But I don't like that callousness being normalized in his audience. You should care. You should care about dead Texans. You should care about dead Africans. You should care about dead Ukrainians. And when you have an extra couple dollary dues, yes, you should support my stream, but you should also support charities and organizations that try to help out with those human catastrophes. And when you have the opportunity to do so and your community is affected by something fucked up, you should go out into your community and you should help your community as well. I don't like the callousness. I don't like the apathy. I also don't like the vindictiveness either. Cameron says, I don't give a shit about the Africans because I shouldn't be forced to sacrifice for anybody. Well, Cameron Mosley, I don't know if you're being serious, but if that's your attitude, then you're fucking wrong too. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's like a sarcastic statement. That's a lot of libertarians' perspectives. That's a lot of liberals' perspectives is, oh, you're not part of my team, fuck you. And that's obviously dumb. Sean says, Destiny is losing the ability to steel man and have nuance the closer the subject is to MAGA, and I have the opinion as a never Trumper. I don't know if he's losing the ability. I think he's willfully choosing not to. Taggering says, Connor is too sincere to troll. Come on. You know, it happens. Cameron Mosley says, sorry, Connor, but your forced altruism is the problem. Well, Cameron, then I'm just going to say, you know, I love you. Thanks for being a part of my chat, but also fuck you.
But my God.
To hit the right checkboxes, then why would he do that? Where did Trump and Greg Abbott, that is the governor of Texas, where did they mess up? Where did they fail to make a response? They're doing everything they can to respond. They were overstaffed. If anything, they had extra staff. All the warnings were sent out on time, as I showed.
All right, Lincoln, where's the Iranian donation fund? I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I need these Israelis to get the fuck out of my media space. Get them out of here, okay? Get them the fuck out of here.
You in the beginning, what are you talking about? You seem like you had so much more to say about the California wildfires while blaming Gavin Newsom and DEI. Yes, because they literally contributed to this problem. They literally contributed to this issue. Yes, blaming DEI is, yes, they're hiring firefighters based on them being gay, lesbian, transsexual Latinos over anyone else because they would prefer to get people to hit the right checkboxes than act.
Are there all these people applying for firefighter positions in California? Like, sorry, we're maxed out on firefighters right now. we hit our quota.
Get people that are capable. Okay, they replaced capable people with tokenized people. That is literally what they did. So it is absolutely something that you could blame them for. All right, to be clear, that's first. Second of all, they didn't have working fire hydrants. They literally derouted the water. They routed the.
Oh, and he believes all of the Trump dick sucks up. To be fair, you have to. If you're an Israeli, it's like they don't always. I don't know why. If it's the fuck.
Okay, half a dozen of you guys all said the same thing at the same time. They already do that, though. MAGA already engages in bad behavior. Yeah, no shit. No shit, guys. You're not telling me anything new.
Fucking height of the fucking cameras or whatever. But you always see videos and pictures of Israelis who are at the fucking Wailing Wall or whatever outside the mosque bullshit. And every time they're there, they'll show you the first part where they lean their head against it and then they fucking weep for Jerusalem or some fucking rape reason or whatever. Afterwards, they get down on their knees and they actually have real life replica Trump cocks that like span the entire fucking wall. And as soon as you've done your bar mitzvah or bar mitzvah, every single time you go to that wall, you have to get on your knees and then fucking slurp and fillet as much as you can.
The water away from California to protect the smelt fish, a species of fish that they tried to save.
Joey Apley says that's a ridiculously unfair criticism to level at the left as if they don't contribute to their local communities. Individuals and some small organizations do. How much of charity is religious? In the U.S., religious organizations receive a substantial portion of charitable giving, but this share has declined over time. While religious giving remains a significant category, it's no longer the dominant one it once was. In 2023, religious organizations received 27% of all charitable giving, totaling $143 billion. Okay. There was something. It could be this. You can check this out. Just Google. But effectively, there is a correlate between volunteer work and churches, and I'm pretty sure it's well documented. So you can say, well, secular people participate in charitable organizations too. I'm pretty sure you get outperformed by religious people. And I'm not saying like religious is exclusively right wing, but obviously there's correlates here, right?
So they routed water away from California, so they did not have water to deal with the wildfires. They didn't have working fire hydrants in California. They had more genders than fire hydrants. Now, this is obviously retarded. This is.
Haircut Commander says, no, I'm not Googling why Greek statues had small penises. Why do you ask? Fuck you guys.
This is like obviously retarded. I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know how you could possibly.
I love how he goes from hand-wringing over my shit to consuming fucking conservative slop fucking rumors. Actual misinformation, conspiratorial bullshit. I love it. It's all good. That's fine. That's good. I like it.
Compare these two. Would be really pathetic if you were just weaponizing drowned dead children for social media likes. He spent all day, every day for the last 3 days looking for bodies and volunteering. And you're called.
And he didn't even find any? Sounds like a waste of money to me, dog. Maybe you should just.
See, that's so fucked up. Like, listen, I get he's fucking around, but you literally have a guy like probably running water and food out to people, all that kind of shit. And he's like, oh, didn't find any fucking corpses. Didn't find any kids' corpses. Didn't find any adult corpses. Guess you wasted your time. That's a fucking dickhead thing to say. It just is. You know, I get you're fucking around, but fuck you for that one.
Stayed home to stream. He could have donated the money to people who actually know what the fuck they're doing.
Like him weaponizing drowned dead children for
What's he doing? Walking around with a fucking 50 caliber, shooting the soil to see what explodes? Like, what the fuck?
Like, that's
I didn't know this guy was a fucking emergency services expert body finder. Apparently, he needs to go back to school for it.
what you are doing right now.
See, that's just shitty. That's not funny to me.
You are weaponizing dead children for social media likes. It is unreal. So then he shows a tweet from Donut Operator.
I think I pretty much said the exact thing. I'm pretty sure we already covered this. It's nice having Nux having the additional context there for a pre-existing issue that, to be honest, I wasn't aware of. Yeah.
Mike Sacco is not Israeli. He absolutely is. I don't know why you would not say that, but wow, John, thanks for the $20.
Yeah, the two situations are not comparable in any way, shape, or form.
They're never comparable, ever. They're never, ever comparable. They're never comparable. They never are, because it's always okay to make fun of liberals and the left dying, but it's never okay to make fun of anything that has to do with conservatives, conservatives.
Again, in order for this to hit, you would have to show me Tectone being a fucking piece of shit about liberals and leftists dying. I was a piece of shit about leftists dying. When Kyle Rittenhouse killed like 2 or 3 people in Kenosha, I didn't give a shit. I thought there were aspects of it that were funny.
And you can do that, but it's in bad faith. Yeah, I think it's very, very, very embarrassing. Right. Yeah, I feel like if you're going after Donut, you're just being...
Isn't he marrying with Israeli family? I don't know. I met him at dinner with him in Israel. I assumed he lived there. Does he not? Maybe he's just a Jew that lives in Israel and he doesn't have citizenship?
Hearted for fun. And that's pretty much just it. Right.
I'm pretty sure if you're a Jew and you like fall asleep in Israel for more than 1 week, they sneak into your room and they swap out your passport for an Israeli one. So
it's just exhausting, guys. It's exhausting. Seeing the chaos and the brigading in my own chat, guys, what do you want me to do?
And by the way, Steven's going pretty fucking hard at Tectone, considering Tectone is like, I'm not going to freak out about it. We should all grow up. That's like a very tame response.
Like, I'm sorry that your streamer's a piece of shit. I don't really know what you want me to do about it. But, like, let's not get to the point where we're willing to lie.
Master of Darkness, take off your fucking fedora. It's not sophisticated just because you say it is. You think I'm not familiar with the fact that some people see it as an allegory. You haven't demonstrated that any of this is true, allegory or not. Yeah, you're a fucking child spiritually, okay? The universe was created. Okay, that's true. The reason why you know that's true is because you and I are having this conversation, and I am not you and you are not me. If you think that you're some solipsist, anti-realist, nihilist, and there's nothing outside of yourself, walk to your fucking kitchen drawer, pull out a potato peeler, and start flaying your own skin and tell me whether or not that experience is real. I guarantee you that you are real and I am real. So we've established that creation exists. Now, let's establish that order exists. Like I said, the only rule that we know of that brings matter back together is gravity. That is already a rule of order, because the Big Bang could have happened and all of matter could have flung out across the void and never interacted together. So gravity is an ordered rule. Whether or not it's conscious, whether or not it has a will, is a different argument. And I do think religion goes too far and it presumes willpower where none is demonstrated. However, if you look at abiogenesis, if you look at evolution, if you look at biology, if you look at chemistry, then it's pretty clear that the world operates based off of predictive rule sets, which is a form of order. So I've demonstrated creation and I've demonstrated order. Then not just that, but sociological complexity and moral evolution evolving into creatures through increased complexity is demonstrated by the human species. It's demonstrated by politics. It's demonstrated by religion. It's demonstrated by philosophy. So yeah, I've demonstrated that creation exists, that order exists, and that morality exists. So I've demonstrated all 3 of those things. The question is whether or not you believe that there is a Godhead, a fount, an origin point that created all of those things, and then whether or not that thing is conscious, okay? I don't presume that there's an afterlife, and I don't presume that God is conscious in what I conceive of as a human sense. So I don't make presumptions about God or order, but the mythologies of histories do. But you can still analyze those mythologies and derive moral lessons and meaning and purpose from them. So shut the fuck up You have the religious understanding of a fucking 15-year-old who smoked pot for the first time and realized that the Bible is metaphorical. I'm right, you're wrong.
Make a streamer look good or not.
What?
Not crazy, right? It's really that easy. Yeah. Anyways, I don't really feel like talking about this anymore because it's just kind of really embarrassing.
I don't feel like talking about this anymore after I've milked it for 30 minutes of content. Oh, yeah, Daddy, milk me.
And it really does feel like a, guys, did you know that killing people is bad? Guys, did you know that giving alcohol to an alcoholic is bad? Guys, did you know that giving drugs to children is bad? Like, I don't know why I'm having to be live and telling people common sense.
He's such a bitch.
I appreciate you nuts. Thanks for the
Why is he a bitch? He literally said, I'm not going to attack Steven because I don't give that much of a fuck because it's a joke. What the fuck? Why is he a bitch?
yeah, thanks for the extra context. We love you to do.
Somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person.
Oh my God.
Sorry, here we go. Dank Brandon says, I get dark humor because it keeps you from concentrating on what you're doing. I worked in a bar where when I was younger and a guy was shot inside and I had to clean up chunky bits of his brain. Yeah. And if you made a joke about that with your coworkers where you're like, wow, our bar is so good, it blew his mind, I wouldn't begrudge you that. Now, if you said that at the fucking funeral, then I would be like, bro, time and place, you know? And then if you went onto public social media and you're like, Jeremy fucking committed suicide at the bar or got murdered at the bar last week. What a fucking asshole. Then I'd be like, yeah, you're an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this. I'm going to show you this. Wedding Crashers, dude died in a hang gliding accident. Okay.
You met her at a funeral. Yeah. Dude died in a hang gliding accident. What an idiot. Oh, I'm hang gliding. Honey, take a good picture. I'm dead. What a freak.
All right. So if you guys didn't hear that, that's from the movie Wedding Crashers. The volume was really low. And it's Will Ferrell who hooked up with a widow because her husband died in a hang gliding accident. And he's like, oh, look at me, I'm an idiot. Oh, I died. Dumbass. You know, like that's okay. So this is a joke and it's a movie. But if you said that for real, I'd be like, you're a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Okay. That's simultaneously the humor and it's also the undercurrent of what's real.
Knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Yeah. I'm perfectly okay with this level of analysis, but there's a steel man to it. I'm just going to listen.
We're defending this?
You want to see...
There ain't no way she said.
You couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place.
Nobody gives a fuck if the firefighter coming to save their life is black, trans, gay, queer, two-soul, Mexican, Latino, white, German, a Nazi.
Yeah, you just need to be able to carry people out of harm's way. Yep.
See, they don't care if they're racist. They don't care if they're transphobic. They don't even care if they're a fucking murderer. You know what they care about? Not fucking dying. So let's hire people based off of who's the best for the job rather than, well, guys, we hired 3 trans people today, so look at how progressive we look.
Like, I think people think this actually happens.
Okay, we just watched a fat lesbian. There's plenty of fat firefighters, so I'm not knocking on that. But I'm just saying, we just watched a lady say, when I get the criticism that you can't carry my husband out of a fire, I say, well, he put himself in the wrong place. Horrible clip. Don't know why they published it.
The hiring person is like, oh, like, do we have enough trans people today on the truck? I think he thinks this is legitimately how the process goes.
No, you have to pass the academy, you have to pass the EMT, you have to demonstrate certain physical capacity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there are better and worse candidates, obviously. And also 99% of firefighting isn't saving lives, it's just talking to people during a medical emergency.
Let them both use Hallie now.
It's
You know?
guys, these children are literally missing and dead. Why does this chick sound like she's got DMs on Nick? And that this reads to me like this is a direct shot at Nick. Am I crazy? Am I the only person reading this? There's Tectone, possible spot. I just don't get it, bro. I banned. Why did Aiden Ross get banned? All right, so he got banned in 2021 for a homophobic slur used by a guest on his stream. Though the ban was lifted after he argued he didn't say it and wasn't present. He was later banned indefinitely for hateful slurs and symbols, but was later returned. His most severe ban in his 8th came in February for hateful content after displaying unmoderated kick chat on stream.
I really want to read this.
All right, is this done? All right. All right, we'll make that a segment. And let's do a summary real quick. So once again, I'm not losing sleep over this. Destiny made a spicy, fucked up joke. Destiny has been spicy and fucked up the entire time I've known him. So I guess I really shouldn't be surprised when he makes a spicy, fucked up joke that, what do you call it? Jimmy's rustling. Steven rustled my jimmies. But guess what? Steven rustles everybody's jimmies, and I laugh when he does it to other people. So there's some level of moral frogging, but my chat has demonstrated that the undercurrent of some of this humor is not like well-founded criticism against the state and against governments for not instituting the correct budgetary priorities in reference to FEMA, and also posting out, ironically, the callousness of MAGA. Yeah, sure, that's probably 2/3 of it, which is the acceptable 2/3. The remaining third, though, is these people are Republicans. They're dumb. They voted for this. Their kids died. Lol, fuck them. And that's the shit that I disagree with. That's the callousness, sociopathy, psychopathy, turnabout is fair play, negative reciprocity that I think is making society worse. So if I said fuck you in my chat, I still love you. Thank you for being here, but also fuck you. All right, I'm going to check in with chat, and then we'll move into the next segment. Like the stream, super chats if you got it, memberships if you got it, engage in chat. There's lots of funny, interesting people who love to piss me off in my chat, and also watch the VODs and comment on the VODs.